Welcome to another episode of Fabitgarage. So in this episode, we're gonna test fit the hood and see if we're gonna have to trim up front because the radiator is slightly higher and most likely gonna have to cut a hole in the hood. So we're gonna do that. As we left off in the last episode, I still have to fill up the cooling system. So I'm gonna do that after I test fit the hood. I'm gonna put the cone back in here, fill up the cooling system, run the car, bleed all the air in the cooling system, and make sure that the new fan setup that you guys saw in the last episode, the Flexa lights, make sure they come on and go off. So I'll be able to watch my new temp gauge inside the car, make sure the temperature is good and doesn't get hot, as you can see there. But I like to test fit the hood so I have an idea if I'm gonna have to modify it a lot, if I'm gonna have to drop that radiator a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm hoping I can leave the radiator where it is because it's all done. But if I have to lower it, then obviously I have to, but we'll play it by ear. So I'm gonna put the hood on, bolt it up, and see what we can do. My plan is to line up this filter straight, because it's right out to the cockeyed. Put some blue tape out here, like this high. Actually, let me do it and I'll show you so you know what I mean. So basically, I'm gonna use the tape to make a mark on the inside of the hood. That way, I know exactly where to cut. So I'll show you guys what I mean. Let me set it all up for you guys. Okay, the hood closes and we're ready to go. So it's close, but I don't know if you're gonna be able to see the air filter as I thought is hidden there. So I'm gonna basically try and outline the filter on the hood and cut that out and let that thing come right through the hood. The radiator cap seems to be decently far away. Looks like I only have about 3 inches here before it actually latches. And I think I have enough room before the cap actually hits the hood. But if not, then I can just notch this here. This is all aluminum, so I can notch here, and that'll be where the cap goes. So I think the radiator might be okay. Guess we'll find out, but we have to start with the highest point of contact, which is there. So let's see what we can do. Let's try and mark that out and cut it out. Okay, so the air filter is out. I'm gonna use the top of the air filter to outline the inside of my hood, and then, or probably the outside. I'll probably drill through, put that cover on the outside, outline it, and then just cut it. So with the filter out, I figured I'll put this here just so nothing will fall in there. There was no longer any interference with the filter because the filter's not here. So I wanted to close the hood and see where else does it rub. My fear was that this was gonna hit down to the hood, and it did. So I had to chop here and here. As you can see, I threw a quick coat of paint just to see how it will look like. So I think when I'm done, I'm gonna just mask these factory decals off, and I'm gonna paint the whole inside of the hood white, like this gloss white, and I think it looks actually pretty good. It'll look brand new. So this was just a test batch just to see how it will look like. So once it's all cut for the filter and everything, then I'll worry about painting the inside of the hood and all these tags and stuff. I'll just leave them. I'll just mask them off the VIN. So yeah. So the other area that touched was the radiator cap, which honestly, I'm surprised it's just the cap. It was the cap and this here that touched, and I'm surprised these didn't touch because this radiator is sitting a little higher than the Miata radiator, and it's forward more because the hood comes down. So the more forward you come, the more chances of touching you have. So luckily I was able to just cut a square here because this is two layers. And then this here used to have a hole just like here, and I just extended. So now I can close the hood, and pretty much all I have to do is, as long as I cut the hole big enough for the filter to go through, the hood will close no problem. And I'm pretty happy that it wasn't a nightmare because I did not want to have to lower the radiator, because then I would not have enough length on the hose. I would probably have to buy another hose, because remember I cut here to put this piece of pipe, or I guess I could do a longer piece of pipe because I think I have more there. But if I don't have to modify the factory radiator support, then leave it alone. So it worked out perfect. So I'm gonna put this on a stand and I'm gonna show you that the hood does close. All right, so I have a temporary bar holding the hood up. For now, I do plan on adding shocks. So instead of having the stock Miata rod to hold the hood, I plan on just unlatching the hood and letting the hood go up by itself with those hydraulic shocks. So but the hood does close and it does clear everything. So hood is latched and we're pretty good. Take this out the stand. So the hood's a lot cleaner than the car because I've been leaning on the car with greasy hands and stuff. So as you can see, this is a lot more yellow from me leaning over it. The car really needs a paint job someday, but I'll be able to clean her up. I still have to adjust the gap on the hood here. So the hood's not fully adjusted, but I know it's not really hitting anything because I can actually push down and I don't, especially right here where the distributor is, I can push down and I don't feel anything. Because the NB hood already has this bubble here, so it kind of helps actually. But as far as going around the headlights and stuff, it's pretty good. So now that the hood is able to close, I'll work on cutting that off. And then, because this is one of the things for inspection, I can't show up to get it inspected with no hood. So now the hood closes, so we're getting a lot closer. I don't think I'll have to do anything up front here, so I might be able to just put the bumper back on and make it stay on. So we're making pretty good progress. So let's get this hood off, and we're gonna put this piece here. We're gonna put this on top of the hood after we drill the hole in the hood, and then we're gonna outline this whole piece because this comes off. That's just sitting on top of the filter. So, and then we'll cut a hole and see what the hell happens. We are at a point of no return. I already drilled a hole in the hood, and now I kind of have to cut it, but whatever. I actually kind of want something sticking out of the hood, so when I drive by someone, they're gonna be like, "What the hell was that sticking out of the hood?" You know what I mean? So I kind of want to make it into a sleeper, but I want to kind of give little hints like, "Oh, that was not a 4-cylinder." So drill the hole from the bottom where that silicone drop was, and then took the cover from an intake with the bolt and basically just dropped it right in the hole, lined it up as straight as I could by eye, and outlined it. So now all we got to do is get the little saw that I have. I'll show you here what I have and you guys can have an idea. I picked this up at Harbor Freight. This is the better line they have. This is the cheap little saw, and this thing works awesome to cut steel, aluminum, anything. You buy these little blades here. You can buy them in all kinds of teeth per inch blades. So this thing works really good. It'll cut almost anything. So for something like this, aluminum, it should blast right through. And with that, you can actually somewhat make it straight. So I'm gonna try and, after I cut it, to get rid of the sharp edge, I might have to buy some kind of like a little border, like a rubber border or something to kind of get the edge out of it. Or I might just file it until it's not sharp, but we'll see. So let's get cutting and see what the hell we end up with. Well, we have a big hole cut on the hood. So keep in mind, if you're doing the same swap as me, because there's a couple of people that are doing the swap, keep in mind that your 302 sits over to the passenger side in the Miata, because the motor sits on the passenger side to clear the steering shaft on the driver's side. So don't expect to drill and cut a hole exactly in the center because your engine is actually over. That's why when you make your exhaust has less clearance on the passenger side. Everything on the passenger side is a little tighter just because the whole drivetrain is over. So Keep that in mind, but it'll still look cool. It'll come through the hood. If it doesn't come through the hood enough, I might see if there's a spacer, because I'd like for you to be able to see the red filter out, through the hood. So let's get this hood bolted back up. Let's try to close it and let's see what happens. Well, we have a hole. So this comes out and it only sticks up a little bit. I might even leave it like that. I don't know if I'm gonna try and put a small hood scoop here to cover that. So like if I'm driving on a rainy day, I don't have to worry about a ton of water pulling up, because this type of filter here, I don't want a ton of water pulling up over there. But I mean, I'm really not planning on taking this car out if there's a chance of raining or anything like that. This is legit gonna be for a nice day out, top down. I don't have AC, so obviously days that are 100 degrees out, I'm not taking this out. So this is a legit weekend car. So I might just leave it like that and then just put something on the edges. I'm not sure yet. But as of now, it's pretty much ready to go get it inspected per se, because I need a hood to get it inspected. All the lights are working. Bumper has to go back on. So yeah, the hood lines up decent. I fixed the alignment line on the hood. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. So, and if you look from the side, let me see if I can focus here. There's about a 1/2 inch gap all around. And that's because when you rev or when you go through your gears, your motor is going to move. So you don't want to make the hole exactly the size of your filter, because then as soon as you rev it, this is either going to crush the aluminum hood or you're going to damage your filter. So you got to, this is basically like a shaker filter setup. You got to give it room to move. So it's kind of cool. I might buy a spacer and make this sit a little higher. Probably like an inch higher, so it kind of pops out. It'd be kind of cool. So, but as of now, the hood is pretty much done. So it was a decent amount of work, but I honestly thought I was gonna have to do a lot more clearance under the hood for the other stuff, especially the radiator. I'm surprised the radiator worked out, honestly, because I thought that was gonna be a nightmare. So yeah, guys, this is coming up pretty damn good for a home build at least. So now I'm gonna probably work on putting the bumper back on and then figure out what the next step is. I'll let you guys know what we're gonna do next. Okay, so the hood is all done for now. It closes. So I'm gonna move on to bleeding my cooling system. I use one of these funnel kits. Comes with a bunch of adapters. I'll show you. So you get a funnel kit, it comes with a bunch of caps and a bunch of adapters. I know I need the green one. You need the green adapter and the green cap because I've used it on this radiator before. So let me set this up and I'll show you guys how it works. All right, so for those of you that are not familiar with this, this is a very useful, it's pretty cheap, it's like 20 bucks you buy this kit. And this is a pretty useful tool to bleed air out of cooling systems, especially where the radiator is lower than the highest part of the cooling system, which is the soles. So what you do is you're gonna find your correct adapter that drops in there, your cap that fits your radiator cap, and then you're left with the funnel. Now in certain cases you might have to go, there's all kinds of adapters there for you to go out to the side and then up or whatever, but mine's just straight up. Then you take this funnel, press it in there, now you're left with this. Now the funnel is the highest part. So as long as I fill it up to right here, anything after this line here, this will be the highest part of the cooling system. So all the air is gonna come out through here and just bubble, and all the coolant, I usually fill it up to like right here, about halfway. Basically when the thermostat opens and all the air comes out, because the block is pretty much empty, all the air that comes out bubbles up through here and all the coolant that's here goes into the block. So you basically don't run out of coolant, and at the same time, this pulls out all the air of the system because the coolant here is higher than the whole system. So, and then you have this little plug here. You plug it up, as you can see. And that's for you're gonna let the car idle. Basically, you're gonna fill it up with coolant up to here, let it idle for 10, 20 minutes until the fans come on. When the fans come on, you know your thermostat should be already open if it's a good thermostat, which means all the air out of the block is already went through and came up to here. As the car is warming up, you can watch the coolant and it'll be bloop, bloop, it'll be bubbling up. That's all air that's been pushed out of the system coming out through here. You're gonna get to a point where your fans come on, they shut off, and your car just idles. This will be pretty hot, the coolant that's floating over here, and you should not see any more bubbles. The coolant should just stay here and just float. So once that happens, you heard your fans come on, you heard the fans go off, there's no more bubbles being pushed out. Then what you do is you plug this up, and then you undo the cap, take out this whole thing as one assembly, and then you'll be able to put this tip on a coolant bottle, pull this out, and all the coolant that's left on here will drain back into the bottle so you don't waste it. So as soon as you take this out, put it on a bench somewhere and cap it right away. And you should be pretty much air-free in your coolant system. So I'm gonna do that to this. And once I put the radiator cap back on, this should be bled and should give me no problem. So let's get it done. Okay, not sure how well you're gonna be able to hear me, but the car is idling. Temperature's coming up. As you can see, the gauge says 167. So the thermostat's gonna open at 180. So 168. And the Miata gauge is already in the middle. So what I was talking about, you're gonna see some bubbles coming up. See all those air bubbles? That's all air that's trapped into your cooling system. You want out. Once the thermostat fully opens here, this here will probably drop down and I'll have to add more. So once your fans turn on and turn off, make sure this stops showing air bubbles. Just cap it off and it should be good. Alright, my fans just came on at 195. The switch that's in there is supposed to come on when it's at 200, but 195 is pretty good. So, and as you can see, it's going down pretty quick. It was 195, it's already 192, 191, 190. So those fans are doing a really good job at keeping it cool. It went down from 195 to 188 within seconds. We did good, and the fan shut off at 184. So it's going to be 184, 195, or 185, 195 in between then. So I'd say these fans are awesome. I think we're good. All right, so cooling system is all bled. Pull the cap out. Pull the cone out, put the cap on. You do spill a little bit, so all you got to do is take a cup full of water or something, just rest it, and then just use a blowgun so you don't have dried coolant residue all over your radiator. And this is pretty much it. Reservoir is on full. Keep in mind when the radiator cools down, the way these work is if there is still a tiny bit of air trapped in here, it'll take coolant from here and push the air back out. So you might come in the morning and you might see this is halfway or even low. Just top it off, and you're gonna get to a point where you won't have to top it off anymore. So yeah, I'd say we got a lot done this week, and this is gonna be it for this week's video. This is pretty much getting pretty close to being able to be registered and inspected. Just gotta put the bumpers on, put the front bumper on, make sure all the lights are working. I did already check the lights once, but I'm gonna double check them. And then just go to the registry and register this thing, which is already under my name. I just gotta get new plates, and we should be going daily driving this thing. So we're getting pretty close to getting it done. So I appreciate everyone that's been watching, everyone that's been subscribing. It's been a decent few months building this thing, and thanks to you guys for watching and motivating me to come out here and put out videos for you guys. Otherwise I'd be probably halfway through this project. So I appreciate you, and we'll see what the next episode brings. Take care.